What's going on, guys? Welcome back, and today I am going to be reviewing Venom 2, or Venom Let There Be Carnage. Now, I was going to do a review on the first movie last week before this film came out, and I just decided against it because I realized that I basically had nothing to say about the first Venom movie. I'm just completely indifferent about it. I don't think it's a terrible movie, but I don't really think it's a good movie either. It's just kind of a mess of ideas. There are some fun elements to it where I feel like they should have narrowed down on those, like, for example, Eddie and Venom, and their kind of banter back and forth. I feel like that's the thing that people liked most about that movie, and they should have just focused most of their attention on that rather than all these weird different elements that make it really tonally inconsistent. And I feel like Tom Hardy was weird casting, because from what I can tell, Eddie Brock in the comics is like around the same age as Peter Parker, and that's why they have a conflict. So I just kind of find it weird now that, especially because, spoiler alert, at the end of the movie, it's revealed that they're going to tie him into Spider-Man's universe somehow. So I just don't really find that conflict believable between, Tom Hardy and Tom Holland, this younger guy. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't really work for me in that regard, and I feel like his acting is a little bit weird. I feel like that's just because of how bad some of the script material is, especially in the first film. So I feel like Tom does the best job he can with that, but something about his acting still feels off. People praise him for his acting, and I feel like Tom Hardy is a good actor, but I don't know, something about him as Eddie Brock just feels off. Like, his acting is really weird. I don't know how to put it, but especially in the first movie, his acting is kind of off. And I just feel like the Venom franchise as a whole is a weird idea, because you're basically just turning this classic villain character into another superhero. This character who is evil, eats people's heads, and murders people in vicious ways is now being turned into a superhero. And it feels like it is just more money. The studio just wants more money. It feels like a cash grab, and there's not really a lot of thought or effort put into these films, because there's no real kind of stuff under the surface. Like in Spider-Man 3, the thing that I find interesting about Venom as a character is how he amplifies other characters and brings out their worst characteristics. That's kind of Venom's whole purpose in Spider-Man 3, is a thematic element. But there's nothing thematic or interesting in really either of these movies. They're just very surface level movies. They're the bare minimum of making a movie, like in terms of like story and structure. Like, they're just the bare minimum. Even this movie, which I didn't hate. So let's get into that now. Let's get into Venom 2. I would say I enjoyed this one more than the first one, just because of the fact that it's shorter and it feels more concise and to the point. Woody Harrelson's character, Cletus Cassidy, is not a great character. I feel like it's an example of an actor being able to bring more to the performance than what was on the page, because I think Woody Harrelson was just having a really fun time with the character and added more to it than it would have had, like, just originally, because he is a better villain than whatever the guy's name was from the first movie, Riz Ahmed, because that guy was just a generic, terrible villain who had, like, no development. At least with this character, you kind of understand him, despite the fact that he's just kind of a psychopath. He is fun to watch, more so than the character from the first movie. And he, has more of a presence, and he does have a backstory, so you can kind of understand and connect with him a little bit, even though he's just kind of crazy. He has a girlfriend from his past who he has a relationship with, who you really don't care about at all, played by Naomi Harris. And, it's just like the bare minimum, once again, of developing those characters. Like, you kind of care, but not really. The most emotional get out of you will be, aw, that's about it. And, Tom Hardy and Venom, or Tom Hardy is both of them. Eddie Brock and Venom, they're fun to listen to and fun to watch, but once again, it's just basically repeating the first movie. It's structure-wise the same movie as the first one, but shorter and more fun to watch because it's more concise. It follows the same structure. Venom and Eddie break up. Eddie's girlfriend brings Venom back to Eddie. they go and fight the bad guy. But in this one, that's basically just what the movie is. Like, it's not like that happens in the second going into the third act. Because the movie is only 90 minutes, and that's what I like about it, it's more concise, once again. It feels like the breakup between the characters happens way too early in the movie, but because it's so short, it did, like, they had to do that. So they kind of just split up for most of the movie and then get back together to fight the bad guy at the end, and then it ends. Like, that's basically just what the movie is, which is fine. It feels more akin to one of the early 2000s movies similar to the Sam Raimi movies, which I kind of liked. It had kind of an old-timey feel. I don't know what the right word is, but it does feel rushed. Like, it feels kind of structure-wise, it's just, once again, the bare minimum in terms of plot and character. And, you know, I feel like, though, Andy Serkis, who's a really good actor and director, was able to do a lot more creatively. Like, he had a lot more of a style than the director from the first film. No offense to him, I don't even remember his name, but, you know, I feel like he has more of a style to him, and he was able to bring more life to this film. Like, it's more colorful and vibrant, so I liked that quite a bit. But it is just the bare minimum in terms of a movie. It's just, you know, very surface level, but at the same time, I was able to get over the more cliched elements of it because of how self-aware and goofy it is in everything. I would say every scene there's something that made me laugh. And I feel like the movie just knows what it's trying to be and knows what it's trying to do more than the first film. Because the first film was kind of inconsistent. Once again, there were a lot of, like, different elements, like horror elements and suspense elements and all these different elements, and they didn't gel. Like, it was trying to be a buddy cop comedy and a horror movie, and it was just really inconsistent in terms of its tone. This one feels like it's really just trying to be a comedy. It's trying to entertain you and kind of be a throwback to old comic book movies. And I kind of like that about it. So when it does have the cliche shooty shoot punch punch lasers finale, I was able to get past it and just kind of sit back and enjoy the ride because I knew what I was watching. There's literally a scene where the Carnage symbiote climbs to the top of this bell tower and goes, "Let there be carnage." And I was just like, okay, I can't take this movie seriously, you know, like, it doesn't feel like it's meant to be taken seriously. So I kind of like that more about this one. Is the first one kind of felt like it was taking itself too seriously at points. This one feels like it's more self-aware in terms of what it is. It's just trying to entertain you, and I feel like they did a good job, and it kind of works for what it is. You know, as a person who's indifferent about the Venom franchise and about the Venom character, in these movies at least, and the first film, I enjoyed this movie for what it was. I feel like if you liked the first one, then you'll like this. If you've seen the first one, it doesn't seem like what you're into, you're not going to like this. It's more of the same in terms of what a lot of people liked from the first one, which was kind of the comedic elements. They really highlighted those, brought those out more to the forefront in this one. But it is just inconsistent. It's not high art. It's not that good. Like, something that I didn't even understand was, you know, the credits scene that everyone has been hyping up, saying is going to blow your minds, is just Tom Holland on a TV screen and Venom licking it. And then I guess that means he's going to be in No Way Home or whatever, which I honestly could not be less excited for that movie. The more they reveal about it, the less excited I get, because it seems like it's going to be so overstuffed to the point of insanity. That movie just looks so bad, but, you know, Venom throughout the whole thing is like, we should be fighting bad guys and doing the right thing. And then at the end, he's going to be a bad guy for the sake of it in Spider-Man No Way Home, I guess. You know, like, it just feels super weird. Like, then at the end, he's just going to be a villain, even though he's a superhero now. Like, it just feels like they don't know what they're doing with this character. It's just, like, so weird. You know, there's no real character development. It's basically devoid of character development because Eddie and Venom go through the same arc they went through in the first movie. They basically, by the end, are just, we are the reluctant duo. Again. Like, it's the same movie as the first one, but it's shorter, and that's why I liked it. I feel like if it was longer and dragged out, I wouldn't like it as much. But I enjoyed it for what it was, and with all that said, that's pretty much it for my thoughts on Venom Let There Be Carnage. What did you guys think of it? Have you seen it? Are you going to see it now? Just whatever your thoughts are, please let me know them all in the comments below, and of course, as always, I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.